Our topic is the media controls how and what we think. Commonly today there is a big issue about the control of media, and media is one of the very common fact in our daily life every day. So we can compare to media as a communication, computing, fine arts, life of science, music, and many other things. And here we are going to talk about the control of media in our life, and the control of media and what we think and what make us think. Mr. Ayub comes from Yemen, and he has completed his secondary education in 2010. Then he moved to Malaysia to further his studies in Abu Khari International University. Currently, he is a student of foundation studies at Abu Khari International University. In the future, he wants to join a higher value university to pursue his education. And we have Ms. Maitan there here with us. He comes from Myanmar, and he has completed his primary and secondary education in 2008. Then he attended University of Yangon, University of Foreign Languages, and she specializes in Russian language. She has worked at one of the high schools as a teacher back in Myanmar. Currently, she is a student of foundation studies at Abu Khari International University. In the future, she wants to be a successful businesswoman. And here, she is acting as a journalist. We have Samad Khan with us here. He comes from Cambodia. He has completed his primary and secondary education in 2009. He has worked as a business consultant in Cambodia Bank. Currently, he is a student of computer foundation studies at Abu Khari International University. Mr. Sambad wants to be a successful business person in the future. In our panel discussion today, he is an acting business consultant. And we have Mr. Ahmed Zulkarnain with us. He comes from Indonesia. He has completed his primary and secondary education in 2008. He has worked in technical support division of Comtech Indonesia. Currently, he's a student of Abu Khari International University in Computer Science Foundation, and he's an acting IT person in our panel discussion today. And we have Shagufa Shahista Mahbub with us from Fiji. She has completed his primary education in 2011. She has worked in banking sector, and in the future she wants to be a successful business person. And here she's an acting representative of government. We would like to start our questions from Mr. Ayub. As I said at the beginning, he's an active person of representing people, which is public, in our panel discussion. So, Ms. Ayub, could you please tell us on cons and pros of media control on people?
Well, thank you, Mr. Hassan, moderator, and good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. I'm happy to be here to share my idea with all of you here. And then, as we know, media, our topic is about media. And as we know, we cannot live without media, especially in this world. If there is no media, how can we know about AIU, about anything in the world what's happening? So, let me explain for you today about advantage or pros and cons about media and how to affect people. Or the first one is advantage of media is save time. As we know, the best thing for media, it can save our time. We can do our job and we are sitting in one place. Send email, talk to our family, talk to anyone in the world. This is the best advantage of media. And then the second thing, we can get easily information. You can just write anything and then easily you find information in media. And then the third point is to know about all over the world, to know what's happening in the world, what's going on all over the world. For example, if there is no media, if there is no newspaper, television, everything, how can we know about what's happening in Syria, Yemen?
Could you please tell us about the cons and pros of media and specific? For example, these parts of media is good for us and these parts of media is not good for us,
Yeah.
for the people.
Yeah, from the people, but let me explain first, and then I will. Okay. And to know about all over the world. For example, we are people. If we don't know anything about what happened in Syria, what we are going to do? Nothing. We don't know about anything. And the third point for us, people, for students, for everyone, to help us in our studies. Almost 60% of students who use social network talk about education topics. This is research in USA. And for example, you can just open account. Facebook is free, Yahoo, everywhere. It will not cost anything money. And then another point about online education. There is 57% of public secondary school in US provide access to a student online learning. So it's easy, you can study from your country, from your home, to help us to study. We are sitting in our place. This is the one of the advantage of our media. And then the second thing is to help educate our children. There is James say children who watch moderate amount TV is better academically than children who they don't watch TV. For example, I will give you example. Just my cousin, he is in KL. He always sitting in the TV, and he is 5 years old. He can speak English. I can communicate with him English. This is why how we educate our children. But don't let him watch other channel or something like that. Cannot get benefit from that. And then the second thing, corners. There is one unhealthy for us when you use it so much. For example, I will sit in front of computer, me or my child or anyone, but I don't have child. For example, it will affect in our eyes. And for example, if there is the time for meal, of course, children will not come to eat. He will sit all the time in front of TV. And second one is waste our time when we use it so much. According to media, Americans spend an average of 28 hours per week watching television. If they can benefit from that, yes, but if they just watch waste of time, everything, that's a big issue. And then the third one is in effect in our thinking. How will effect, for example, there is one advertisement in television or anywhere about clothes. And these clothes are expensive. And then my child or child in future, he will ask you to buy this clothes, shows everything for him. And then you didn't have enough money to buy for him. This will face some problem between family, children, parents, everyone. This is the worst thing is media is lose control. You can do whatever you want. I can go any website and then I will comment whatever I want. For example, there is I will tell you about my country, I don't know about it if you have or you don't have. There is a magazine, this magazine belongs to government. So this government talk about the other side. And I will talk about the government. So we should take everything should take seriously and then do not affect our thinking. And then according to one studies in America about the effect of media in American families are in 1950 only 10 of the American house had television, and by 1960 90% of the house in America they have television. So I think it's very important for us the media.
So you mean 90% of families in the United States have TVs?
Yes.
And okay, thank you so much, Mr. Ayub. And now we will move to Ms. May. She is She is acting journalist in our panel discussion. And as I talked about her, she has experience in languages and she has worked in high school. So, Ms. May, could you please tell us, people think that journalists are the main sources of information for news and TV channels. How important is the role of journalists in influence of media over people? And do they provide accurate information or not?
Thank you, Mr. Islam. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And very good evening to all of you. I'm a journalist here. And first of all, I want to say that for the audience, mass media is a source of entertainment. And for the journalist, media is a source of practice and salary. And for the owner, media is the profit and political influence. And journalists work in many areas of life. They are finding the information and finding the news and they are presenting the information. Journalists are the media group of people in most developing countries who make their living from the writing. When people enter journalism for the variety of reasons, some people enter journalism to get the power that can influence to the people. That people are strongly believe that journalists are influenced on the mass media, but actually the best journalists recognize their role as a servant of the people. We are the channel through which the information flows and we are the interpreters of events. We should never use journalism for the selfish end, but we can use it to improve the life of the other people. People trust journalists with first, either the one they give or the one they receive. We must not be careless with them. All journalists must aim for accuracy. Without it, we will lose trust readers and ultimately to our job.
Yes, and do journalists provide media and people with the correct information or not? Like, do they take one side or another side, or they just tell the facts?
Some audience are misunderstanding the journalists. They don't give the correct information. But most of the journalists, they are always searching the right news. Their task is to seek the truth and report it, and their responsibility is to minimize the harm also.